Welcome back to the Yacht Inspector, the podcast for everyone who loves getting out on the water. I'm your host, Alex. We often talk about the fun parts of boating, but today we're tackling something that can sometimes be a bit nerve-wracking, and that's actually buying the boat. To make sure your dream of a floating holiday home doesn't turn into a nightmare, it's a good idea to have an expert on your side. So I'm very happy to have Ingolf Schneider with us today. He's a professional marine surveyor and the man behind renowned yachtexperts.com. Ingolf, thanks for taking the time to chat.
Good day, Alex. Great to be here again. Always happy to talk about boat and stuff with you.
Awesome. So let's just dive right in. I think a lot of people have heard the term marine surveyor, but it sounds a bit official. In simple terms, if I'm looking to buy a boat, what do you actually do with this title on your t-shirt?
You're right. It does sound somewhat formal, doesn't it? But to clear up here a bit, you can simply think of me as your technical detective and neutral advisor. My job is to go over a boat from bow to stern, top to bottom, and find out all its secrets. I'm there to give you, the buyer, a totally unbiased, clear-eyed look at what you're really getting into. It's all about making sure there are no nasty, expensive surprises waiting for you down the line.
Hey, a technical detective. I really like that. But it's not just for buying, I guess. I imagine there are other times people reach out to you.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, even though pre-purchase surveys for buyers are the big chapter on our list of assignments for sure, but certainly I get calls for all sorts of reasons. An insurance company might want a valuation survey just to make sure the boat's insured for the right amount. Or occasionally, if someone has an accident, perish the thought, I'll come in and do a damage inspection to assess things like the cause or the sum of a claim. So that's also part of our routine work. And, sometimes I even get asked to oversee a big refit or repair, just to keep an eye on the boatyard and make sure the work's being done right.
Well, you really have to know your stuff. So, what's your background? What makes you the guy who can spot things an average buyer like me would totally miss?
Look, I've been boating around since my early childhood, so the enthusiasm has always been there. But yeah, the technical side is key. So, besides designing and building boats myself as a hobby, I've gathered a broad theoretical background from institutes like the Lloyd's Maritime Academy or the American Boat and Yachting Council. And on top of that, I'm a member of the International Institute of Marine Surveying, which I'm quite proud of. But frankly speaking, as important it is to have a good theoretical knowledge about all the boating stuff and the physics that keeps them afloat or sailing, your skills and your views as a surveyor obviously get more sharpened with each survey conducted. And I am lucky to look back at a quite good reference list, meanwhile, covering all kinds of boats and yachts. I guess that's the real asset here.
Okay, so what are we talking about boat-wise? Little day sailors, trawlers, massive super yachts? What's your spectrum?
That's a good point. So, what we focus on is pretty much everything up to 24 meters or about 80 feet. So that covers a huge range of the boats and yachts most people are looking at: sailboats, catamarans, motor yachts, you name it. So we deal with a broad variety, which keeps things always interesting.
Right. And you're based in Croatia, but I hear you're often traveling to Italy as well. So, what's the typical area you cover?
I'd say most of the surveys take place somewhere between the city of Split in the southern part of Croatia and then all the way up north through Slovenia and the Italian Adriatic coast down to Venice. That's a good 90% of our daily business. However, in case of bigger yachts, we're certainly ready to take assignments beyond that as well. But we want to maintain a somewhat healthy ratio between survey fees and travel costs. So we are sorting that out on an individual basis.
Well, sounds reasonable. Now, let's get practical. Say, I found it. The one. It's a 42-foot catamaran sitting in a marina in Croatia. I'm excited, but I'm also terrified. What's my first step to get you involved?
Okay, so congratulations. Well, first, take a deep breath and calm down. The process is pretty straightforward. You'd go to our website and request a quote. Tell us about the boat, where it is, and we'll send you a fixed price so you know exactly what it'll cost. Travel and all. No surprises. Usually at this point, you'd make an offer on the boat that's subject to survey, and you'd put down a deposit with the broker to show you're serious. If you'd need assistance in that phase, we'd be happy to invite you to a video meeting in order to go through critical issues.
Ah, perfect. So you'd guide me beyond just a technical part as well. Okay, I took a deep breath, the offer is made, and the deposit paid. Now for the survey itself. Give me the play by play. What are you actually checking?
It's a multi stage process. First, and this is essential, the boat comes out of the water. On the hard stand, I can do the real forensic work. I use a moisture meter across the hull to hunt for signs of soaked cores or osmosis. I'm tapping the entire surface, percussion sounding, listening for dull thuds that could indicate delamination. I'm closely inspecting the keel, the rudder bearings for any play, the propeller for damage, the cutlass bearing for wear, all the underwater gear. And critically, I'm checking every single through hull fitting and seacock to make sure they're sound and functional.
Wow, that's incredibly thorough. And that's all before it even gets wet.
Exactly. Then, once it's back in the water, the inspection continues. On deck, I'm pulling on every stanchion and lifeline, checking the security of the chain plates where the rigging attaches to the hull, inspecting the windlass and hatches. Then I go below. I'm in every locker and bilge with a flashlight, sometimes even with a videoscope, looking for evidence of leaks. I'll test every system, the generators, the water pumps, the air conditioning. I check the electrical panel, the condition of the batteries, and the state of the wiring. And I'll do a proper check of the engine and drivetrain.
Okay, and I'd assume for the latter one, you'd take the vessel out for a sea trial.
Absolutely. Right. The sea trial is where it all comes together. We take it out, and I'll ask the skipper to push the engine to wide open throttle in accordance with the engine manufacturer's specs. I want to see with the thermal camera if it overheats. I want to see if it smokes, how it sounds under real load, and if it reaches its rated RPMs. We'll test the steering from lock to lock, check the autopilot, and make sure the navigation instruments are functioning. A boat reveals its real hidden secrets when it's getting a bit stressed with salty spray and waves, you know?
Salty spray and wave. Sounds like music to my ears. And finally, after all that, you deliver the survey report. You said it's not just a pass fail document.
Not at all. It's a detailed health record, so to speak. It will have several dozens of pages with photos and clear descriptions of every finding. We categorize everything so you know what's a big deal and what isn't. We'll list critical safety recommendations, things that must be fixed, and then other defects that might be less urgent or purely cosmetic. It gives you a clear and objective impression, and most importantly, the hard evidence you need to go back and negotiate with the seller on price or repairs. And by the way, thanks to our innovative and web based inspection and reporting software, the documented findings can be made available online within just a matter of hours. So even a tough deadline in the contract of sales will be no problem at all.
Nice. So I can discuss the findings with the broker or seller immediately. And okay, so once I get this big report, and let's say I go ahead and buy the boat, is that the end of it? Am I on my own then? Any reason to get nervous again?
And that's a really important point. No, you're not on your own. My goal isn't just to survey a boat, it's to help someone become a happy, confident boat owner, as my family has always been for the last 40 years. So the relationship doesn't end when I email the report. I can help you, for example, with the insurance coverage, as certain agencies may grant you a discount when our survey report is presented. And in case you want to upgrade the yacht at some point or have some refit work in mind, we will help you with that as well. It's an ongoing support role, and we're in it for the long haul.
That is fantastic, Ingolf. It's not just a transaction, it's a relationship. You're not just a surveyor, you're a long term advisor. Thank you so much for giving us such a detailed look into your world.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
That was Ingolf Schneider live from Croatia. So if you're out there dreaming of your next boat, go to yachtexperts.com and drop him a message as soon as possible. You'll be in good hands. That's our time for today on the Yacht Inspector. Join us next time again when we talk about another salty topic. Until then, have a great time and fair winds.